And he thought it was a strange place to go, but he said, I'll go with you. And it's the first time he had ever visited an abortion clinic, and he was shocked to find out that it was actually right next door to one of his largest clients. He had never known it was there. He couldn't hardly even notice it because it was just this indiscreet little building with no address. It was sort of out of sight, out of mind. And as he stood there on a Saturday morning, watching as cars would pull into the parking lot and go inside, for 30 minutes he watched, and his heart broke as he watched these moms going inside there, and he knew what was going on. And he thought to himself, is this really happening? And they're coming back out, and tears were coming down his face as he watched as moms would go in and out. And they'd go back inside and then come back out almost as though they were wrestling in their mind with, what do I do? I don't want to do this. I have to do this. I don't have any other choice. And he felt like he was watching this battle for life and death happening right in front of his eyes. And he knew he was always pro-life, but he never really did anything about it. And he prayed. And he felt as though God said to him, if these were 8-year-old children, would you feel any different? Would you react any differently than the way that you have them reacted? And he's like, oh, of course. 8-year-olds, I mean, if he knew that there was going to be like a school shooting and the police were not going to show up, oh my gosh. I mean, he'd call everybody he knew. His whole church would be down there. Every church would be down there. There's no way they would let that go. And so he went to some of the sidewalk counselors out in front of the clinic, and he said, where's the church? Where's the church? And they said, oh, no, church doesn't come because they don't want to touch this. This is too political. This is too divisive. Most of the pastors, they wouldn't touch us with a 10-foot pole. And so he went back to his business, and he took his staff to the clinic, and then he took his pastor to the clinic and started bringing his friends to expose them, and they began to pray. And they began to walk around the building and pray and ask God what they were to do. And he felt that God spoke to his heart. And he ended up launching a ministry called Love Life. That's right, Love Life. That's what he did as a family of faith. And he started this prayer walk with 22 people. Within 1 year, it turned into 4,000 people. Eventually into 10,000 people in several different cities and 60 churches partnering with Love Life. And it began to spread like a wildfire. And not only was it resulting in a reduction in abortions, but it was lighting the churches on fire. Churches that felt like they were dead were coming alive. And he felt that it was important to say that we're not a pro-life activism organization. We are simply living out Christianity 101. We're loving our neighbors as ourselves. And the switch came in his mind when he went and saw it for himself. When he saw those moms walk in and imagined in his mind that behind that brick wall she's sitting on some table and children are being torn out and ripped apart. And that's just what finished it for him and knew he had to do something. And so he started something that he calls Adopt a Week with pastors in churches. How many weeks are in a pregnancy? 40, right? And so he took, in that community, he took 40 weeks and found a pastor to adopt each week of the 40 weeks. And in that week, he challenged the pastor to preach a strong pro-life message from the Bible on Sunday and call his church to action. And then on Wednesday, call the whole church and lead them in prayer and fasting and seeking the heart of God. And then on Saturday of that same week, the pastor would lead the family of faith to the brokenness of the local abortion mission field, and they would begin to pray and experience the power of God and personalize the battle. And he found that when the church became present at the abortion clinic, abortions went down 70% in Charlotte. When light shows up, darkness has to leave. And people began to volunteer and create new ministries within these churches because they just came alive. And they started becoming sidewalk counselors every day of the week. They became mentor moms and dads. They started foster and adoption programs, caring for orphans inside the womb and orphans outside of the womb. They became prayer warriors or donors to fund the ministry. Marketplace leaders who are doing well in the business community begin to be the fuel and the sustenance to be able to fuel this ministry so that others can do the other work. What he learned was that the answer is to activate the greatest organism on the face of the earth, and that is the church. Activate the house of God, the army of compassion. When that happens, the battle is won. The darkness has to leave. You guys, I want you to watch this video and hear the story of a girl named Alicia who came to that clinic and her whole life was changed. Check this out.
I didn't know who Christ was until almost 3 years ago.
It was something that I believed in, but I didn't have a passion about being pro-life and standing for babies.
Day and age that we're living in and all the turbulent times going on right now, that wasn't a time to be a Christian that was sitting on the bench.
I learned about Love Life in February, at the end of February. I started volunteering and going out there on the sidewalk.
January 24th of 2021 is when we first started Love Life here in Southern California.
We went to our boot camp training in February. It was like, well, let's do it.
So I walk up and there's nobody on the sidewalk. And I say, Lord, okay, there's only 5 more minutes left. And I ran over really quick, and this young, beautiful woman rolls down her window about this much. And she said, yes. And I looked at her and I smiled and I said, I don't know what you are here for, but if you have missed your menstrual cycle, your baby has a heartbeat, 10 fingers and 10 toes, and I can show you what your baby looks like today. When I was young, I had an abortion. I was 21. I was pregnant the second time. I had a miscarriage, and I was devastated because I really wanted to keep the baby. And sitting there in the ultrasound with her, I told her she gave me a present that no money could ever compare. It was a blessing to see a baby on an ultrasound because I didn't get that on my first. And I got to hear a heartbeat because I never found one with my second baby. It was a Thursday and I said, tomorrow is Good Friday. Would you like to go to church with me on Easter? And she said, yeah, that would be nice. We went to church, we sat together, and at the very end when Pastor Jack did the altar call, it was so beautiful. She got up. A woman I just met about a week in front of an abortion clinic is now choosing not only life for her baby, but eternity with the Lord.
I found out that I was pregnant at 3 months. I already had in my head, like, I want someone to change my mind or give me some type of hope or something before I go in there. I was just like so excited, like I just wanted to tear up a little bit. I was just so happy to see a life moving in me. I just knew in my heart that I was keeping her. Cause that day, like I called everyone, I was like, I'm keeping my baby. I don't care what anyone thinks, I'm keeping her.
I see the text message, and not only was a babysitter, but a mom is now a part of the family of God.
I remember when Anna called and told me, and I think her exact words were, it was an amazing day of grace.
We had a gender reveal party for her. We had a baby shower for her. The word got to me that she's being baptized by Pastor Jack. And she wants you to be there, to be a part. It's a moment I'll never forget. As she came out of the lodge, just the laughter, and realized, thank you, Jesus.
Were you just a part of it, like a miracle, a life being saved? And then more stories start happening, and more women start getting saved. This happened last week, and this happened yesterday.
Riverside in Corona.
I pray to the God of heaven and earth, watch him work, and then we will see revival in our land.
I pray that Love Life will spread faster than the wildfires we have here in California, and I want it to be a revival.
God calls us to do things that we think are impossible because God wants to stretch you. He wanted to stretch me.
You see God start to change your life. Even if you're not looking for it,
Lord is moving her. He is using her. She's even actually gone out and is now counseling and trying to encourage other girls to keep their babies. I know God is moving in her life and He's not gonna stop.
Just looking at baby names, I see them tomorrow, I'm like, oh, I never, that's a nice name. It also means grace of God, so I was just like, oh, Janelle, grace of God. So that's why I chose her name.
I don't want to just have these beautiful young women at these clinics choose life for their baby. I want to walk in life with them, and this is why Love Life has just changed me. But I know the Lord's hand is in it because He's changed my heart. A heart of stone into a heart of flesh.
So important to me personally, this subject. It's because it's at the very heart of my family story. My wife is an adopted child. Our first 4 children, Bella, who you met here tonight, and Jack, and Anna, and Luke, are adopted. My precious wife and my 4 adopted children were this close to not being here. They were one doctor appointment away from not existing. And it's because of somebody who cared enough to talk to those young girls and tell them that this is not a mistake that's happened to you. This is a miracle that has happened to you. And there's a God in heaven who loves you, and you can do this. And you can be a champion for these little kids. I am so thankful. When the church of God is activated, miracles happen. And I am living with 5 of those little miracles. No, actually 7, because if my wife Chelsea hadn't been born, either would our 2 natural born children be here. My whole family is a miracle. And Love Life is here tonight. They're out there in the lobby. In fact, there's all kinds of volunteers here in their nice blue shirts, and they've got all kinds of stuff. They want to tell you more about their ministry. They want to partner with you also. They've sponsored this event so that you can be here also. And so I want to honor them, and I want to give an opportunity for you to consider helping them and supporting them and partnering with them. My wife and I are, and there's ways that you can support them. They've created a way for you to become prayer partners with them, a way for you to become sidewalk counselors with a local church. You can get your pastor on board. They can show you the roadmap on how to do this in your community. You can also be a marketplace leader, and you can financially support them. Obviously, this is what makes the whole thing run, is for us to be able to support them financially. If this is something that you'd like to do, I want to put this packet into your hand. This is an issue, the issue is not the darkness, but the absence of light. And about how to bring revival to your church in this one beautiful and particular way. Listen, if you got your phone that works with that QR code, here's one of the ways that you could support them. Point your phone up to this QR code and check this out. All of a sudden, it comes up with a screen that allows you to support them. You can support them, and they got these great names for the way that you can support them. People call them crazy for what they do, praying in front of abortion clinics and talking to the ladies before they go in there. And so they've leaned in and embraced it. In fact, the first level of partnership, they call it their radical partner. And I think that's whatever the amount is there, that helps to mobilize the church to save one mom and one baby from the pain and loss of abortion, if you become a radical partner. Or you can step it up to the lunatic partner. Goes beyond that, you get crazier and you become a maniac. Then there's the fanatics, they have the insane, and then for the really, really clinically crazy, there's the straitjacket level. I don't know if that is, you have to ask them out in the lobby. But they did want me to tell you that if anyone tonight would like to become a partner at the maniac level, they would be eternally grateful. And if you go out to their table, they're going to give you a free Love Life hoodie. My goal as I travel across the country to these 6 or 7 different cities with the American Campfire Revival, is I would like, in each city, to be able to save 1 mom and 1 baby. I'm sorry, 100 moms and 100 babies in each city. I would like to be able to do that here tonight. I think we can do it if we all leaned in, maybe prayed about it, and we do our part. You don't have to do this, but I want to give you an opportunity to. You may say, hey, Kirk, something I want to pray about. Okay, great. I think you should pray about it. Could I be so bold as to ask that if I turned my back and gave you a little privacy, could you just talk to each other and pray here in the room for just 2 minutes? I can even play some nice music for you or something. Ladies, maybe you just are already thinking I've already got my mind made up. You just need to look to your husband and give him that look like you know you can. It's like, this is something that we should do. We should be a part of this. If that's it, I want to just go out on a limb and just give you 2 minutes to kind of decide if this is something you want to be a part of. Listen, if you don't have a smartphone to do that, and you're still rocking your flip phone with pride, inside of this booklet right here, if you don't have one, there is a card, and we've got a pen, and it's got all the same information on it, and you can just fill it out the old-fashioned way. And it tells Alicia's story, too. If you don't have one of these and you'd like one of these, would you just raise your hand, and someone from Love Life is here, they're going to put the packet into your hand. It's really beautiful, and I'd love for you to just take it home as a gift, regardless of what you decide to do with partnerships. Just raise your hand, and let's get those packets to them as soon as we can. Those of you who got your phones, here, you can have mine. I think here, you can have mine. There you go. And you can point it up there. Just fill it out, or write it out and complete it, and then hold it up in the air. There's going to be a thank you screen on your phone that has the Love Life blue heart. And if you hold it up, Love Life is going to give you one of these bracelets right here. And I want you to have them. They're really cool. It says that we love life. And you can tell other people about Love Life when they ask you what that bracelet's all about. Just fill it out, hold up your thank you screen, or hold up your completed envelope to one of the volunteers, and they will give you the bracelet. We're going to take 2 minutes. Please don't anybody move or leave the room right now. People are praying. Wives are giving their husbands that look. And we're saving babies and moms for the next 2 minutes. And then we're going to take a 15-minute intermission, and we're going to start by lighting the campfire for session 2. And you're not going to want to miss that. So let's just take 2 minutes right now, and let's change the world together.